up with tonight.
It's amazing, isn't it?
You know, I'm surprised that nobody's covered one of our old hits.
Well, yes and no.
Well, there's Ron Daniels right there. How are you, Ron?
There's Ron Daniels. He has the best hair I've ever seen on a human.
I know. You know, many people don't know this, but there was a brief time in the late 1970s when Ron Daniels was actually president of Yugoslavia.
It's incredible. I'm surprised. No one told me anything.
Well, he told me about it one night, and I believed every word of it, of course, because I know that Ron is an honest, upright fellow.
Of course he is. And he's also one of my neighbors in Easttown. Comes over sometimes with bacon for me. Nice young man.
Yeah. Ask him about those Yugoslavian treats.
I will, Danny. Thank you.
Yeah.
Shouldn't we be introducing someone?
We are supposed to be introducing someone, and that someone is our good friend, Christine Rathburn and Ernst.
Christine Ernst, ladies and gentlemen.
And here she comes. I'm just going to stay up here because I like Christine so much.
Thanks, you guys. I have a brand new piece. I don't even know what it's called. We can just say, it's called Christine Gets All Head Up. And this is the first time that I have to wear readers. I'm so much more middle-aged than I was last year. So Christine Gets All Head Up. I listen to several public radio stations. WCAI out of Woods Hole because I live up Cape. Also WBUR because it's the only one that comes in on the radio in the bathroom. Also the mothership, WGBH. In the car, on my phone all day long, unbiased except when it's liberal, independent, unbought, unbossed, listener supported, and I contribute. There's a sticker on my car. I get the quarterly newsletter, WGBH, NPR, my source for intelligent, thoughtful news reporting. And while it's mostly sort of, kind of, commercial-free, we do endure the constant acknowledgement of their underwriters. NPR states on their website that they are grateful to their sponsors who share the belief that the American people deserve to get the news from an organization whose only agenda is to inform and enlighten. So, this love-love relationship was great until just recently, sometime in November, when the Pajamagram people finally pissed me off. They've been a corporate sponsor on NPR for a long time. We've all heard the plug for cozy, high-quality jammies for the whole family delivered to your front door just in time for the holidays. Send the gift of relaxation. A luxury item for sure, but they underwrite my beloved NPR, so what the heck? But this year they went too far. This year, not only can you kit your whole family out in Christmas morning in Pajamagram's signature product, the trademarked Hoodie Footy, you can also kit out the dog and the cat too. Now, apart from the obvious challenge of putting Hoodie Footy pajamas on a goddamn cat, it is simply untenable for the nation's public news source to be, pardon the pun, in bed with a purveyor of pet pajamas. Fish, meat, bicycle. And then I got really mad because I went to the Pajamagram website. There were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of photos of happy pajama-clad people, women and men, couples, whole families, kids, and except for two women who may or may not be Asian, every one of them is white. And of course, there are no same-sex couples or non-traditional families, no folks with disabilities, no fat people, no old people, not even any older people, unless you count the possibly middle-aged cougar gal in what else, leopard print satin pajamas. No, just attractive, young, unbelievably fit white Americans. And don't even get me started on the gender bias, their selection of flirty pajamas, feminine pajamas, their slutty midnight fantasy baby dolls, their naughty nurse tap set. Did I mention the price? That Christmas morning, look at us all in our matching Hoodie Footies photo op for you and your wife and your two kids plus Rover and Fluffy will set you back $407.81, not including the tranquilizer dart you're gonna need for your cat. What the hell, NPR? I dug some more. Turns out that Pajamagrams is like any large corporation and has no scruples. They also sleep with Rush Limbaugh and Glenn Beck, who who even has a creepy testimonial on the Pajamagram website. My wife loves her hoodie footy, and I love seeing her in it. I don't know how much they give to NPR, but I have to believe it's a boatload. And whether or not they share the belief that the American people deserve to get the news from an organization whose only agenda is to inform and enlighten, and I'm betting not so much, they almost certainly share the belief that the average listener on NPR is, in addition to being a complete sucker, is also a complacent member of the imperialist, white, supremacist, capitalist, heteropatriarchy, who possesses the requisite discretionary income to blow on fucking pajamas for the dog. So I'm not listening to the radio so much lately. I get agitated. So I'm finishing up my Christmas shopping, trying not to overspend, trying to buy or make or bake or scavenge at thrift shops meaningful gifts, real gifts, not $80 pajama gifts from my loved ones. Trying to understand the peace on earth and goodwill toward all people this Christmas through the lens of Ferguson, of the protests in Washington and New York, through what is or what is not torture, through today's second anniversary of the massacre of 20 little kids. Christmas, I find, this year is fraught. I was at Walmart last week, list in hand, powering through the last leg of my one big in the stores shopping day, buying socks and underpants for Julia, our 5-year-old, because that's an awesome present, right? A woman asked me where the slippers were. At first I was indignant because I think she thought I worked there. Like that was a bad thing. But she was old and in a wheelchair. She had no legs. She had trouble talking, maybe a stroke, I thought. She repeated herself several times until I understood what she was looking for. She already had several items in her lap, and I wondered how she managed all alone. I led her to the next aisle. She followed slowly, did not want my help pushing her chair, and she pointed up to a pair of plush leopard print booties. What size is she? I asked. Medium, she said. I handed them down to her and she stroked them, smiling. Perfect, she said. Another woman joined us now, 30-ish, harried, out of breath. Grace, she exclaimed, clearly relieved, also completely annoyed. She had a younger disabled man with her, an aide from the group home or the day program, I assumed. Are you done with your shopping, Grace? She asked in that way that overtaxed, underpaid aides speak to their charges a little too loud, not quite sincere. Grace nodded yes. Who were the slippers for, Grace? She continued. Grace held the slippers to her chest. She said, my feet are cold. The aide looked down to where Grace's legs should have been and said, well, that's interesting, Grace. And she took the slippers and she hung them back on the hook. Grace looked at me again and smiled and said, my feet are cold. The aide mouthed a thank you to me for what I am not sure and ushered Grace and the young man toward checkout. To my everlasting regret, I did not take those slippers and follow them to the register and pay for them myself. And of course, her name was Grace. Not Phyllis or Kathy or Fran. She might as well have been the Virgin Mary herself in that wheelchair in Walmart in that moment. Another prophet in my midst, and there I was comparing the relative merits of Hello Kitty underpants and Little Pony underpants. Another missed opportunity for Grace, of Grace, in a year, a season, a December of missed opportunities, of outrage, of longing, of, frankly, despair. Some might argue that a woman without feet needs slippers like your cat needs pajamas. But maybe a woman without feet needs slippers like an infant needs frankincense, gold, myrrh. We three kings, we dozens of kings, we army of kings, saddle up. Hate is strong and mocks our song. We have much work to do and real gifts to give. So traverse far with me on a hunch that God, or whatever you deem your higher power, is not dead, nor doth he sleep. That the wrong shall fail, the right prevail. With peace on earth, goodwill to men.